Welcome to it, sports fans. It is the MKT Show. I'm MKT. Welcome to Cliff Central Sport on this fantastic Thursday. Fantastic Thursday. Good to be with you. Thanks for joining me. MKT, Gareth Cliff, Cliff Central Sport. You've done well. You've done well to be here. This was a good choice. This was a good choice if you're joining us now or you're watching post the show. Hope you're having a great Thursday. And hey, let's finish the week strong. Tomorrow is Friday. End of the week. Vaccines landing globally. There is hope, light at the end of the proverbial tunnel. It's not a real tunnel. For those people that are always confused by that saying, it is not a real tunnel. So glad to share that with people. But good evening. Let's get into it. What are we talking about? Man United. Oof. It's gonna happen. They're gonna get you. Tell you why Man United should just, if you're a fan, relax, take it easy. Yesterday wasn't the end of the world, and we'll talk about last night and people being upset, and then Kagiso Rabada. I mean, he's, what more needs to be said about this guy? But I'll take you through my thoughts on him, and he's made history again. Great player, great young guy. We'll finish off on Rabada, the Proteas. 29 for 4, essentially. Unfortunately, that is a situation. We'll talk about the Proteas, Rabada, and everything that he means to this country and indeed the cricket landscape. Okay, well, let's start with Man United. By the way, Cliff Central Sport. It is Cliff C Sport on the Tweet Monster. Otherwise, it's Cliff Central Sport across all social media platforms. By the way, new show launched. Myself, Ben Karpinski. Go and check Betway SA. So go and check out Betway SA. Check all of that out. And we have a new show. It's called The Way to Go Show. So go head on over there to Betway's social media platforms. Like, share, subscribe. I don't know what else you do. Are there any other words? Tweet. I don't know. Like, share, subscribe. That's all I know. Those are the things that matter. All right. Well, the Way to Go show, that'll be me and Ben Karpinski every week. I will give you 5 of my picks on that show. Go and check it out. And let me know what you think. We are rolling now, so expect to see that more often, and that content will only get bigger and better. So more to come on that front. Way to Go show, Betway Sport or Betway SA social media platforms. Like, share, subscribe. And this, of course, I'm MKT Inspires on all social media platforms. And tomorrow, if you are a Cliff Central fan or Gareth Cliff fan, of course, it will be my last day working in the Cliff Central side of things. But of course, we're growing Cliff Central Sport. We'll move along. All right, we've done the housekeeping. Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, let's get into it. Look, as I've gotten older, I've taken life lessons from people, and I kind of listen to them. And one thing that's constant in my life has been, never be upset at people for who they are. You always hear me say, if somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. But okay, that can be a little hard. We're all, we're all fallible. If someone's good looking, maybe they got the right scent, maybe, they meet you on a good day, you're in a good mood, you're likely to give them a chance. All right, that one's a little harder. Sometimes you're blindsided by somebody's, facade. But what you cannot do over an extended period of time as an adult in life is be upset at people for who they are. If you're upset at somebody for being who they are, if you have a mom, a dad that drinks too much, a girlfriend, a boyfriend that drinks too much, and you're still upset after 3 months that they drink too much, that's on you. Right? They are who they are. Be a grown-up and accept people for who they are. And you should be upset at you. Don't be upset at people for who they are. Right? Be upset at yourself. Don't get in a relationship with somebody if you don't like drinking and they drink. Don't be upset at them. That's who they are. Listen, Man United, they lost last night and they acted surprised. So I was surprised. Like all of my Man United friends last night when Sheffield United, who are rock bottom, by the way, and have 5 points, I think, after 20 games, which is, wow. That's like Derby levels when Derby got 11 in the league. But all my Man United friends were shocked. And then I was shocked. We created a hyperloop of shocked. Like, have they... I say to United fans, have you not been watching your team this season? Because we all do this. Again, going back to the relationship thing. We all do this with our mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters. is we always remember, and it's an evolutionary sort of thing where we forget bad stuff, right? So this is why in life we have statistics, because men lie, women lie, numbers, they don't lie. So Man United fans seem to be in some ridiculous world where they are the invincible Arsenal in their mind. They are Fergie's Ronaldo Arsenal or Man United. I don't get it. Because I'm shocked that you're shocked if you're a United fan at last night's result. Have you not been watching your team this season? Let me remind you of what you've been this season. Let me just tell you some of the stuff that's happened. 3-1 loss, Crystal Palace at home. 6-1 loss, Spurs at home. 2-1 loss, Istanbul Başakşehir. Right? 3-1 loss at home to PSG. 3-2 loss to Leipzig, and that should have been about 5 or 6. Leipzig missed 2 sitters in that first half. Leipzig should have been 4-0 up first half. Right? And also remember, you're in the Europa League. Now, for those who don't understand how the Europa League works, is you have 6 games to correct that. Right? The Europa League isn't like the FA Cup, the League Cup, where you have 1 game and you go home. Man United had 6 games in an absolute walk in the park group with a Leipzig team that isn't Leipzig from 2 years ago. They've just lost their 2 best players, and Upamecano's been injured all season. Werner's at Chelsea. You're in the Europa League. So I've just given you some results where Crystal Palace 3-1 at home. That happened. I watched that. So let me tell you what the reality is 5 out of 38 games, Manchester United, right, this season, they haven't lost. It's been a humiliation. Humiliation. There is no football team that's ever won a league title, really been a title contender, and lost and been humiliated 5 times in the season across all competition. It's never happened. It'll never work. Folks, that's 15% of their games. It's just below 15%. Right? It's about 13.5, but let's round up. Let's say 15% of your games, you're humiliated. Man United were humiliated 15% of the times they play. Can't win with a league like that. Don't act shocked. 3-1, Crystal Palace at home. 6-1, Spurs. Istanbul, I mean, you can't lose to them. 3-1 to PSG at home. 3-2, Leipzig. And then you're in the Europa League. Europa League, by the way, it took you 6 games to get there. So it's not like, oh, we were unlucky. Folks, if you can't win your 6 games in the in the Champions League, and they had a soft group. So to United fans that are shocked, I ask you again, have you not been watching your team this season? You were not league champions. Here's the other problem, and you saw it last night. You cannot be a 2-man team. If you're honest with yourself as a Man United fan, just be honest. It's Bruno or Rashford. Everybody else is a roller coaster. They're either too old or too young. You can't rely on Greenwood. He's, 18, 19? He's still developing physically, mentally. It's a big weight, number one, just to be at Manchester United. It's another weight to start at Manchester United. It is another weight to win at Manchester United. No 19-year-old ever. Forget it. Ryan Giggs, leave him in the past. Took Cristiano Ronaldo till he was about 21, 22, till he was ready. Give Greenwood time. Other than that, you got Bruno and Rashford. Nobody else is interested in pitching up week in, week out. I'd say, and listen to this. Your third best player this season's Luke Shaw. And if that doesn't scare you, I don't know what does. Folks, it was never the league winning thing. Man City were just catching up. Liverpool have had aren't what they are. They're a little lukewarm at the moment. But be realistic. You've been humiliated 15% of the games you've played this season. That's who you are. And I said it a couple of weeks ago on the show. You know what the great champion teams do? It's never about the roof. It's not what your potential is, right? Man United's potential is a 10. But to win in business, in life, you know how you know you're going to win is what's your floor, not what's your ceiling. Everybody can hit a 10. What's your floor? Man City's floor is like a 6, right? If they're terrible, Man City, they're a 6. Man United's floor was losing at home to the worst team in the last decade in the Premier League. Crystal Palace at home, 3-1. That's Man United's floor. That's a 1. That's a 2 out of 10. So the great teams, if you want to win in this league, your floor must be a 6 out of 10. When you're terrible, you're a 6 out of 10. You cannot lose 6-1 at home to Spurs, which is a brand new team with a brand new manager. That can't happen. You cannot consider you're a paper champ. So please be realistic. And then the other thing is it is Team Bruno, Team Rashford. Everybody else is a roller coaster. Folks, let's remember the teams that have won the leagues, the great teams. Bruce, Schmeichel, right? Pallister, Robson, Cantona. They're all humming at the same time. Hey, Brian Robson has a bad day. Don't you worry about it. Gary Pallister's got you. You have a bad day. Dennis Irwin's got you. You have a bad day. Don't worry about it. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got you. Don't you worry about it. Right? Drogba, you have a bad game. Lampard's got you. Don't you worry about it, Lampard. You have a bad day. Ashley Cole's got your back. You have a bad day. Paulo Ferreira's got your back. You have a bad day. Peter Cech's got your back. Thierry Henry, who never had a bad game in his life, memory reminds me. But you have a bad day. Don't worry about it. Sol Campbell's got you. You have a bad day. Don't worry about it. Ray Parler's got you. Parler, you have a bad day. We got you. Right? Ashley Cole, again, legend of that team. Folks, this idea that Man United were ever champions is silly. And I know it was just Man United fans, but please don't act shocked about last night. And to all of us, stop being angry at people for being who they are. If you're a United fan, this is what you are. 15% of your games have been humiliation this season. And with a 6-game format, you're in the Europa League. That's what you were yesterday. That is what you are. Right? Nice talent, but talent ain't enough. Your floor's too low as Man United. You can't be losing 3-1 at home to Crystal Palace. Because you were very capable of that. I've just told you, you've been humiliated 15% of your games this season. And you're in the Europa League for a reason, by the way. And last night, came unstuck. Bruno didn't play well. Rashford didn't play well. Nobody else pitches up. So I'm just saying last night wasn't a shock. It's not as big a shock if you're honest. I know to Man United fans who thought, oh, well, it's 1999 all over again. It might be a shock. But come on. Come on. And I've said it since the beginning of the season. I'm not sure Man United are making top 4, but I'll let you live in the fantasy for now. But be an adult. Be an adult. Don't be upset when you know what you are. And by the way, you are what you are. All right. Let's take some questions. Hey, if you like the content, push that one. That means you like this content. If you don't like this content, go back to making hot dogs in your microwave or whatever you were doing before this. I mean, I don't know if you're doing that before this, but I'm just telling you what you can do. Those are your options. All right. Oh, if it isn't good old Mr. Arsenal himself, Jesse Randolph, he must be feeling good about himself. His Arsenal team are serious. They are looking good. I mean, really good, in the words of Ron Burgundy. He says they did. Yes, Jesse Randolph says they lost to Sheffield United. They did. They did. I was asking my Man United friends last night on, if you're a football fan or a sports fan or a human being on earth in 2021, you have WhatsApp groups. And I said, I don't know which one's a worse loss, last night or the Istanbul Besikshir one. And I both are ugly. Thabo Padi. And a lot of people will see an L. By the way, don't be uncultured. He's from Lesotho, and he's not the Lesotho like the one close to Zimbabwe. He's Lesotho like Moshweshwe's people in the mountains. The Switzerland of Africa, they call it, Lesotho. Awesome country that. He says, well, he's not from Lesotho. It's a Sotho name. It's a whole thing. I mean, Thabo, what must I do here? I'm not a dating app. I'm not going to explain your whole life to everybody. If you would like to know more about Thabo and his interesting name, I don't know, email the guy. Plus, he's also, he can do your website. MKT's in the house. It was sad today for us Cliff Central listeners, but luckily we have this show. What say you about United being eventually knocked off their perch? Well, Thabo, I think I've just told you everything I think there. I don't want to pile on. It doesn't bring me joy to see Man United losing. I'm just telling you what it is, It might bring me a little bit of joy. But yeah, Thabo, it was what it was. We saw everything on display last night. And, it's been said, fatigue makes cowards of all of us. When you look at last night, it's a fatigued team, right? And that's where the great teams, they pitch up and they play a 6 out of 10 and they grind out a result. But unfortunately, Man United, and I've said it before, what they're lacking is character. The talent's fine. I mean, you've obviously got a few holes. You can't have Martial as your starter. That ain't it. That ain't it. And I think you saw Cavani last night. The Premier League's catching up to him. Right, some of those first touches, a little heavy. That's hard. It's hard. The Premier League's hard, and old guys, it's hard on their legs. 3 games every week, But no shock to me, Thabo. I still don't think you'll make top 4 because I don't think you've got the character as we saw last night. But give Ollie credit. He's turned it around. Jesse saying, City's flying 7 wins in a row. Is anyone going to stop them? Everybody knows I predicted City to win the league at the beginning of the season. So nobody's going to stop them. They are, and they still, by the way, they are still playing their B team. Because now you should really be scared. Kevin De Bruyne is off for 6 weeks. He'll be back in about 8 to 10 weeks. That's probably what is that? March, when things really come down. And you still haven't seen Sergio Aguero this season. That must make the league sick to the pit of its stomach. Because if Aguero gives City, let's just say, 10 great games this season, they're going to win the league by 15 points. They're unstoppable without a striker because Jesus has, it's been hard. I think he's realizing what sort of burden Aguero has been carrying. Nobody's going to stop City. And that's not in hindsight. I predicted that beginning of the season. Tabo says, we were always going to lose. If not Arsenal, we were going to lose Southampton or Everton. This team is full of lazy players backed by excuses of rebuilding, and young players need time. My, oh my. Tabo continues to say, you were right about City easily winning the league. No one's going to stop them. They are not dropping from first. What are they? A point up with a game in hand. They are something else. And Tabo says, I just came here tonight to say, Yerra fuck. United pisses me off. I don't think that needs any translation if you're not from South Africa. Yeah, United, huh? That is, wow, some night. Jesse says, I won't get too happy yet. Arsenal get United on Saturday, but it was funny. United lost to Arsenal also when Arsenal were playing awful. At Tabo, I support Arsenal myself. I've learned not to upset myself anymore. It's just a game. And Jesse Randolph says, the world is what it is, not what you want it to be. Hey, I heard that line. By the way, if you don't listen to Cliff Central or the Gareth Cliff Show, that is a line. I was in Davos, which is in Switzerland, where they have all of the douchebag politicians go and pat themselves on the back every year, and all these people who think they're very special. And I've been a couple of times to kind of listen to him because I'm a douchebag who thinks he's better than everybody else as well. So we all gather in Davos every now and then. But this was back in the day, and the Dalai Lama said those great words. So Man United fans, there we go. That wasn't me. The Dalai Lama said it. I'm not going to claim to be that wise. The world is as it is. And I said that on the show this morning with Gareth and the team. Hey, Man United fans, listen, bitter. But like I've said tonight, that is what you are. Adversity strikes. Bruno's not there to save you. Rashford's not there to save you. I don't want to pile on. I'm not going to pile on Paul Pogba anymore. That's boring, right? I was right on Pogba, so you move on. You're like, we don't need to put extra on top. I was right on Pogba. You can't rely on him. I'm not going to pile on. I probably won't talk about Pogba anymore because I don't think he's relevant, to be honest with you. And irrelevant is not interesting. All right, listen, we'll do this quickly. Great questions there, by the way, Jesse. Tabo Badi with an L. Hard lines. Maybe you should go into the Lesotho Mountains and go and meditate. It is tough times for United fans who thought they were actually league champions in waiting. All right, let's move over to this. Let's finish off on this one. It'll be short and sweet. Kagiso Rabada is an absolute treasure. He is an absolute treasure. Like, this guy is all-time legendary trajectory. He's the 4th youngest man to ever get to 200 wickets. Now it's undeniable that if we just, let's say, we know the shambles that South African cricket is. But let's say we look after Rabada 6 out of 10, how we should actually be looking after him. Listen, I believe one of his parents is a doctor, so he comes from a good home from everything I've read about him, and he seems high character, and everybody I've spoken to says he's class all the way. He'll look after himself. You look at him. The difference between him and Ngidi, night and day. Ngidi, overweight. Rabada looks like he could be playing in the NFL. He's in unbelievable shape. Looks like he could be a basketball player. We've got to look after this guy because legendary doesn't come along often. South Africa's had 2 in a row now. Listen, I like Vernon Philander. I like Morne Morkel, but Dale Steyn was all-time worldy. Dale Steyn is in the argument for the greatest test bowler of all time. Kagiso Rabada is now in that conversation if he has another 2 years like he's just had. We've got to look after this young man. 4th youngest Homo sapien in the history of this planet we call Earth to ever get to 200 wickets. It's just unbelievable. One concern is injury. Listen, it happens to tall guys. That back and everything is. We've also put a huge load on a young body, and you see what happened to Cummins. They put that load on him early, and what happened? Those injuries came. I believe it was the cracked back and the cracked shins. That's tough, especially for these tall guys, right? Rabada's only 25 now. His body isn't really fully developed. It's been sensational, the workload we've put on him. But we've got to ensure the next 2-3 years are crucial. Look after him. We've got other options as well. So rotate. We may have to say, listen, the Proteas are going to be terrible the next 2 years anyway. We're going to have to put him on an overs restriction. I don't want to see Rabada bowling 23 overs a day. I don't want to see Rabada bowling 18 overs a day. Put him on a restriction and put him in cotton wool for the next 18 months as this injury recovers. Because as we've seen with Cummins, when you come out on the other side of the injury, you get the time to rehab. He's gone to a different stratosphere. Now, Rabada was already in that stratosphere, and now he's coming back from that injury. He's remarkable. I cannot say any more about this young man. What I love about him is not the talent. It's the character. I've never heard Rabada off the field. I can see, dude, why are you overweight? That tells me what you're doing off the field. Yeah, I can't have that. I can't work with that. Rabada, high class. And it would have come out. You can't lie for 7 years in a career. It would have come out if he was that and he went to an extremely prominent boys' school here. There's been no stories out of there. He comes from a good home. This is somebody who, by the way, I don't think sportsmen should be role models, by the way. So I'm not saying Kagiso Rabada should be a role model. What I am saying is, in the sporting sense, look after this kid, please. SA cricket has made such a mess of everything else. Look after this kid. It is so rare to get legendary 2 in a row. Folks, the Proteas have been looking for Gary Kirsten for 20 years. Don't tell me Dean Alger's Gary Kirsten. We just had Dale Steyn. We've now got Kagiso Rabada. Don't screw it up. Don't screw it up. So to this young man, congratulations. He is absolutely sensational. And I want to finish off on this. For all of the negativity, I think, surrounding South Africa, in terms of the cricket, we've got Nortje, Rabada, Pretorius, and Ngidi I've got with an asterisk. So SA cricket, again, we thought, oh my goodness, we've lost Philander, we've lost Morkel, we've lost Steyn. What are we going to do? But this country just keeps delivering great athletes. So kudos, number one, to our great schools, because there is no development program. SA cricket has no interest in developing anybody. But I believe our sporting system is the greatest in the world. So South Africans can be very, very proud of that, because we keep churning out the best cricketers in the world. Look at England's team and the Colpack guys and all the guys that go to England and play in county cricket. South Africans that we consider second grade, they dominate. Look at their rugby team. Look at their rugby leagues. Look at the French rugby league. Domination with absolutely no national administration. I mean, they couldn't really organize what they call a piss up in a brewery, the administration in this country. But we won a World Cup in the rugby. Just unbelievable. So we keep churning them out. Nokia, Rabada, Pretorius. Don't worry about it. And Ngidi with an asterisk if he can stay out of the McDonald's drive-through. We got solid guys. Fantastic place for South Africa to be. I think with Maharaj, you can win like that. I think you can win like that. So, Kagiso Rabada, kudos to you. You're doing yourself very proud, number one. And I'm sure your family incredibly proud. And hey, listen, we may have to get KG on the show once things are up and running. By the way, just another reminder. From February, we will announce the date to look out on our social media platforms. You can expect sort of a complete revamp on Cliff Central Sport, and we'll announce the date when we start with the 2-hour format. So we're moving to a 2-hour format, but we will be, while you're at work, right? While you're fighting with your mom, while you're working at home and you want to ignore your kids for 2 hours, hopefully they don't set the kitchen on fire. But if if you need company, 12 to 2, right? If you've got the most annoying work colleague across the way, get those Bluetooth earphones in. I'll keep you company, myself and the boys. We're going to build a nice team. You'll get to meet some more characters. 12 to 2, that's midday to 2 p.m. We will keep you company Monday to Friday. I cannot wait for that. I'm really looking forward to that. I've had such great feedback. And, we're not going to make it like a radio show. I don't want to start like in the news today. It's not going to be that show. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interactive. And we want you, ideally, if you're not at work, to get involved. If you're at work, hey, get involved. We're going to start taking phone calls. It's going to be, we're taking it to another level. But let's just start with this: 12 p.m. or 12 midday to 2 p.m. every day, 1,400 hours. We will be on in February. Look out on our social media platforms. Cliff Central Sport, Cliff Central com, of course. Otherwise, look out on MKT Inspires, which is my social media handle on all platforms. Go ahead and go and check that out. 12 to 2, make sure to keep your company. And the feedback's just been awesome, by the way. So looking forward to it. It's now the easy part's done. The talking is let's deliver. Everybody who watches the show, you are friggin' awesome. And I love it. I do love it. Like, share, subscribe. And by the way, before I go, Betway SA, go and check myself and Ben Karpinski out. The Way to Go show. That'll be dropping. Look out for those social media handles as well. Look out on my social media handles, and we'll be announcing exactly how we're working that. Every week, I'll give you a pick, 5 picks, if you're into the sports gambling, and you can go and check out Betway and everything there. So there's some cool stuff coming out there. It's been an awesome journey with Ben. And I'm looking forward to bringing you even more great content. And there's more, by the way, on the way. So 2021, let's do great things. We'll finish off with this. Jesse Randolph asks, better than America? I presume you mean, do we produce better athletes than America? I'd have to say they have 300 million people. And actually, their administration's unbelievable because college football is more professional than every single sport in South Africa put together. In fact, I might even say every single business in this country, outside of the high-level businesses, every single administrator in this country put together is not as professional as just the collegiate sport. It's run by the NCAA and the colleges and the boosters. The really big American football programs are the most professional, some of the most professional sports in this country. They're spending somewhere between $100 million and $200 million in college sport. And these are amateur athletes. So I would say yes, on the numbers. If you look at the low percentile of schools that actually develop children, because we have our economic disparities. In America, they can take kids from the hood and put them at Alabama's training center, which is as good as anything Stellenbosch can offer in South Africa. So they do have the resources to develop people from really young. When they got the talent, you spot the talent. That's what Americans are brilliant at. Spot the talent, develop the talent, both physically and mentally, and then put the talent on stage. In South Africa, considering the shambles that it is, actually what you have to say is we're winning more on athleticism than brains. And our pool of people being scouted and actually being put in place to succeed is so small. If you think about it, England should be destroying us. France should be destroying us, right? New Zealand should be destroying us. As small as their populations are, their admin is so sophisticated that if you're talented in some sheep-infested place in New Zealand, they'll find you. In South Africa, we know where the talent is. It's the Eastern Cape. But we still can't have a team there. Now, that's not that people in the Eastern Cape don't want a team. We can barely run a team. And we've tried. How many iterations of that Eastern Cape team has there been? So I would have to say South Africa, if you're taking the numbers, I think yes, because our pool of athletes comes from 25 schools. 25 schools max. America finds their athletes everywhere. I mean, I think California alone is 22 million people. almost 10 times the population of South Africa. So I'd have to say yes, I'm afraid. And you also have to remember is we compete in global sport, by the way. America struggle when it gets to global sports. with their own stuff, they're great. I don't insult America. I think that they do great things. Nobody's perfect. Nowhere's perfect. But I'd say we when you consider the numbers and the lack of professionalism, I'd have to say South Africa is producing. It is actually sensational what our school systems are. And let me tell you something. I'm speaking from experience, and maybe there's people out here who had the privilege. It is an absolute privilege to be able to say, I did an exchange year at what is considered the best probably the best boys' school in the world. I did an exchange year, so I know the difference between our top level and their top level in the United Kingdom, right? They aren't close. Let me tell you something. I played rugby at a school called Eton. They are not close. And their money, if you want to know what Eton is, go and Google Eton in the United Kingdom. They are literally the feeder school to Oxford, just so you know what you're dealing with in terms of capital there. So Prince Harry was there when I was there. Like, these are the kings of kings, the kingmakers and the kings, and Boris Johnson, the prime ministers, all go to Eton, right? Boris, Eton guy, the prince, and all of his compatriots, Eton guys, terrible athletes. Football, I played there. I looked like Ronaldinho out there. Come back home, it's like, who the hell are you? Get the hell out. Get the hell out. I'm not even, but no, we're another level. We're another level in this country, and that's one thing we do. There's a lot of factors for that, but we're not going to get into it. All right, we'll finish off on this one. Jesse seems to think America, they produce better. Athletics, not global. I mean, athletics is really niche. If we think rugby is niche, athletics is tiny. Listen, Jesse, I love athletics. I work in the athletics industry. They've, I MC at a lot of the events, but where do America win? And even then, it was a really tiny part of it. So it's, what is it? Swimming. Swimming's not as big as rugby, not as big as cricket. I want to be on your side. I want to be on your side. I love America, and they do produce across the board. But when you talk about the big sports, which everybody plays, their team's probably not better than Bafana Bafana, and Bafana Bafana would lose to a Sunday League team. So, but hey, listen, America's great. Just my opinion, and I think that's it for now. For now. By the way, America are not great in athletics. It has been a while. Once the steroid testing got better, you saw all of their sprinters have disappeared. I'm just saying. I'm not saying they were taking steroids. I'm saying as soon as VADA testing came in, you've seen all of their sprinters disappear. They keep winning in the pool. They keep winning in gymnastics. VADA testing came in. America's not winning on the track anymore. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you what's happening. What are the blue label events? 1500, they are nowhere. 800, they are nowhere. Because in athletics, if we want to talk athletics, by the way, people think I'm just a football guy. Yeah, you want to talk athletics? I'm here all day. Listen, the blue ribbon event on the track is 1500, right? Al Garouge, if you don't know who he is, go and look him up. The guy of all guys. But the real superstars are the marathon guys. Where's America there? So, the expensive sports, America will win. Swimming, it's really expensive. It takes 10 years to develop a swimmer. Michael Phelps is not the product of when he got to the Olympics. Michael Phelps has been training since he was 10. They found him at like 10 and found his potential. So, but anyway, South Africa, kudos. Rabada, kudos to you. To you at home, kudos to you as well. Before you go, like, share, subscribe. Push that one if you like the content. If not, hey, go back to eating crumpets and watching, whatever chick flick you were watching before this. Nothing wrong with chick flicks. I'm just saying, I don't know what you do at home. But for whatever reason, you decided to spend this time with me, and it's been an honor. It has been an absolute honor. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm MKT. Next to me, if you're watching on YouTube, is Gareth Cliff. This is Cliff Central Sport. It is the MKT Show. For tonight, it has been a privilege. But for now, I am the hell out of here.